All right, I hope everybody is having a good day so far. Today's presentation is going to be on how to turn one client into five. It kind of gives me hints of kind of how to turn water into wine, right? If we could turn one client into five clients, that would be an amazing trick that we could all implement within our business, and it would greatly benefit us all. And in this presentation, we're going to be speaking about how we do that, how you can go ahead and leverage something, a system in building relationships to turn one client into five, how to increase the value of a single client times five. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive into this presentation today. I want to begin by talking about some of the struggles and the things that we face as agents. Okay. So the current problems we face as agents are, number one, you've either created a hamster wheel in your business that you can't get off of. Okay. And what I mean by this is, as agents, when we build a lead based system around how we get new clients, we've probably created a little bit of a hamster wheel, right? We're always looking for the next client. We're always looking for the next lead. We're always trying to get more people into our business, rather than leveraging the people that we already have relationships built with and the people that we've already served up to this point. And so if we only focus on getting new people into our business, we create this hamster wheel of sorts. And I don't think any of us got into real estate to be on a hamster wheel per se, right? We got out of a W-2 job. We took a full 100% commission-based job to get off of the hamster wheel. Second problem most of us face as agents, and I included in all three of these as well, is we're waiting around for our friends and family to buy or sell. I run a sphere-based business. I run a referral-based business. And sometimes, out of good intentions, I have said, hey, I'll be here whenever you're ready to buy or sell. And I typically say that to remind people that I'm in real estate. And then I'm just waiting for them to jump into my lap, right? I'm waiting for my friends and family to say, hey, Tim, it's time to go ahead and I'm ready to buy or sell. And it's not a great business model to just sit here and wait and hope that people come to us. We don't have to convince people to buy a house. We don't have to convince them to sell a house, but we still should be proactive in moving our relationships forward with trust and being able to bring value to them. And so just waiting around just isn't the answer. But that's a problem most agents are facing when they try and build a sphere-based business or a referral-based business. Number three is you're waiting around until you're under contract with a client to provide value. That's a really difficult one, right? How do we provide value to our clients from day one? How do we provide value to them immediately after meeting somebody for the first time? I think a lot of times it's like, oh, our value comes out as agents once we're under contract, and we can help negotiate. We can help explain, the process of how a transaction is going to go. We can help the transaction move smoothly. There's a lot on the transaction side, or once we're under contract, a lot of value that we bring as agents, right? That's the majority of probably our job and the value that we bring. But we want to flip that switch, because if we're not providing value from day one, it's a big problem. And this is just part of the current problems that we face as agents. These are things that have run into in my own business. These are things that I've struggled with. These are current problems that most of the other agents that I speak to are dealing with as well. Okay. So in this presentation, we're going to learn how to turn one client into five by using a repeatable process with every new client. That's one, going to build trust. Two, it's going to educate them on the power of real estate. And three, it's going to provide them with value from day one. All right, so we're going to learn how to 5x the value of each of our clients in our business. And it's going to be, here's a hint, by providing them with more value. More value and more value up front is the key. That is the answer. I want to plant this question in everybody's mind here today, because this was a question I asked myself early on in my real estate career. I actually was reading this book called Expert Ownership. And it's this book that kind of structures and walks you through how to set up a business. There's 10 steps to setting up a business. It's written by these two great guys, both in real estate, have built a kind of a real estate empire. And one of the questions that they ask you to reflect on in that book is, how can I provide 10 times the value to my clients than I take and pay? And as a young real estate agent, I read that question, and I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I have no idea how I'm going to provide 10 times the value that I take and pay, right? Like, we can technically, on the easiest side of things, if we were just to take the easiest clients that we work with, right? We probably showed them 1 to 3 houses. They loved it. Boom, we wrote an offer. We got them under contract. Then we sent off a few emails. We walked them through the transaction, and we got a $10,000 paycheck for it. So if I'm asking myself the question, how do I provide $100,000 worth of value, right? 10 times the value of my commission to every client. And I asked myself that question. I was like, I have no idea. There is no closing gift that I can get my clients that has an equal value to $100,000. All right. So I want you to think about this question, because we'll come back to this at the end of the presentation, but just reflect on this. Like, do you really know? If you could think through I would be curious to know if any of you guys have good thoughts around this, and how you can actually provide 10 times the value to your clients than you take and pay. Because very hard to do in our industry, right? In other industries, it might be easier, but our industry as a real estate agent, we get paid a lot of money for the value that we provide, right? So moving into this, again, I need you guys to wake up. Don't be a slave to your business. There are struggles that we are all facing as agents, right? Who here has found themselves in constant search of the next lead source? Right? And we talked about that hamster wheel a couple slides back, right? It's a like, oh, what am I going to do? Am I going to farm this new area? Am I going to go set up a new lead source? Am I going to go buy more leads? How am I going to get the next person in my door? Right? Stop being a slave to your business. Who here in this group has told their friends and family, hey, I'll be here when you're ready? Right? Like, there's good intentions there, right? You're not pushing anything on them. You want to just remind them that you're in real estate. You want them to come to you when they're ready, right? But that is a terrible business plan. That cannot be our business plan. We cannot just say, I'll be here when you're ready, right? That's not us leading our clients in any direct way. That's not us providing value, right? We're just waiting for a paycheck. Okay, who here has had a current or past client end up working with another agent? I mean, that's like, whether it's a past client that you helped close, and then, you go by 2-3 years down the road and you see on social media that they ended up selling their house with somebody else. Maybe it was a new connection that they made at work who had their license, or their friend's brother's cousin ended up getting their license and they used them. And you just didn't follow up with them. You didn't have enough trust built with them. You didn't provide them with enough value up front, and then on the backside once you closed, right? Like, stop being a slave to our business. These things are keeping us a slave to our businesses, and we want to teach you how to get out of that. Okay. So why is this important? Well, if we implement what I'm about to show you, you can build a scalable, sphere-based business. And I want to clear this up for anybody who's wondering or doesn't understand what a sphere-based business is. This is just the primary source of your business is going to come from people you already know and have a relationship built, or people that they know, right? It's a referral / sphere-based business. You're not going and buying leads, right? Leads aren't coming in from Zillow. Like, the main primary source and lifeblood of your business is relationship building. Okay. So if you implement this, you can build a scalable, sphere-based business that makes a positive financial impact in your own business and for your clients. That last part is key, because we're not out here just to make a buck at the expense of our clients. We're out here to be in alignment with our clients. When I speak to somebody, we are on a team together now. When I create a game plan for that person moving forward and how to utilize real estate so that they can build wealth for their family, we are now in alignment. We are on a team, right? The more wealth that I can build for my client base, the more my business benefits. Let that sink in. The more wealth, the more I can serve, the more value I can bring to my clients, the more my business benefits, right? Because if I can build somebody's wealth up, they can purchase more homes. They can continue to invest in real estate. They can continue to come back and use my services, right? So we're in alignment. I want my clients to be successful. I want them to make more money. I want them to get their finances in order. I want them to make good purchase decisions when it comes to real estate. Okay. If you don't, why is this important? If you don't implement this, if you just continue to go down the rabbit hole and you stay on the treadmill, you're going to lose repeat business because you didn't provide them with enough value. And you can be left vulnerable to market shifts that put you out of business. Right? Let's be honest. There's been like 60,000. I think I saw a statistic. There's been like 60,000 agents who have left the industry in the last 6 months. When the market shifts, how is your business built? Right? Did you build it on a firm foundation or is it just on sand? Is it going to get washed away whenever the market comes in and out? Are you going to come in and out of real estate? You're going to get your real estate license and then you're going to weave back out and get a full-time job to help support the bills. Or are you going to be able to stay steady and continuously provide value to your clients no matter what the market does, right? That's the cool thing about real estate is there's always a strategy that you can employ no matter what's going on with interest rates, no matter what's going on with inventory, right? So who am I? My name's Tim Johnson. Marcus Flanagan is on this call as well. He's my real estate partner. We are former athletes and we own a local real estate team called Athlete to Agent. A realty team. We're brokered by EXP, but we also have a coaching platform that we help coach former and current athletes on how to leverage the strengths that they had and had built as athletes and take them and employ those same strengths in their business. And we're firm believers in building sphere-based businesses. We don't necessarily go out and build these magnificent lead programs and platforms that we can utilize leads. We believe that you have all the tools right on your tool belt already as a former or current athlete to build a successful business, especially within real estate. So that's kind of our purpose. That's our mission. And the reason we have this presentation today and what we built is we built a client playbook, which we're about to dive into right now. But we recently looked at each of our client relationships and we wanted to find a way to repeat the process, right? Because when you think of a sphere-based business, you think, okay, it's relationship-based, it's relationship-driven, right? So how do I scale? How do I build my business? How do I get more clients? Okay, I have to be better at building relationships. I have to build more relationships, and I have to go deeper in those relationships faster if I want to build a thriving business, right? So even though we're building a sphere referral-based, natural, authentic business, it does not take away from our mindset and still looking to how do we scale this? How do I grow? How do I become more successful? How do I serve my clients better? Right? So we took a look at the way we naturally were walking our clients through this process, and we basically just built a system and a structure around it. And we call that our client playbook. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this. So we call this our client playbook. Right? You notice we kind of lean into the niche with the former athlete thing going on there, right? The playbook, we kind of allow our clients to know what we did, what we were as former athletes, current athletes, and how that looks and how that affects how we serve our clients. Okay. So our process with this playbook, we basically just outlined our process and how we were naturally advising clients, and we just laid it out so that we could repeat the process over and over and over again. So step one is client goal overview. How are we supposed to serve somebody if we don't know what they're trying to accomplish, right? This is the first mistake I think a lot of agents make is they want to educate their clients and show them how much we know in real estate. And so we just give them all these options and ideas. And a lot of times our clients walk away from that conversation more confused than they were before. So in step one, we found ourselves naturally just asking the person that we meet for coffee, right? We would present this client playbook or walk somebody through this process normally over a cup of coffee. It's a 30-minute process, but this is a repeatable process that we use. And so when we started, we would say, okay, Joey, who's my client, Joey, what are you trying to accomplish? Not just from a real estate acquisition standpoint, right? Like, I don't care necessarily right now that you're trying to accomplish, buying this many units or, this amount of cash flow. I want to know why. I want to know why you want to accomplish something. And I want to get really clear on the timeline of what you're trying to accomplish as well. And this first part of kind of going over the goal overview helps us establish clarity for ourselves and for our clients. Okay, so then in step number 2, once we have that established, in step number 2, we go to client education. When I say client education, I do not mean we're going to educate them on the process of what a transaction looks like. Right? When a lot of agents think, oh, I'm going to educate my clients, they're educating them on what the market is doing exactly at this moment. They're educating them on, the steps of the transaction. Okay, once we get under contract, we're going to go through an inspection period, and then we have this lull, and then we have an appraisal that we have to go through, and then we'll have a final walkthrough. Your client doesn't need to know how you do your job, right? They don't need to be educated on how to be a real estate agent. That's what you're there for. But we do need to educate our clients on the power of real estate. Okay. So in that process, in step number 2, we're educating them on the perks and the power of real estate, what real estate can do to help them with step number 1, what they're trying to accomplish in the long term. Okay. Step number 3, we go over our wealth building paths. So this is simply just introducing them to the different aspects of what it looks like to invest in real estate. Are they investing in Are they investing in active real estate, passive real estate, or are they kind of in this hybrid model, right, where most of our clients actually end up fitting, where they're kind of going after some different strategies, they're open to different opportunities, we're educating them through that process. Step number 4 is after we've sat down and conducted the client playbook with them, we wait, a day or two, we reflect on what their goals are. We look at how we've served other clients, and we provide a customized game plan for them moving forward. So this is the process. This builds trust. It brings clarity to what they're trying to accomplish. It educates them on how real estate can help them achieve that goal. And then we lay out a plan, right? Very simple, very clear. But if we miss this from day 1, you run the risk of losing out on clients. Let's dive right into this. This is what this looks like. This is our client playbook. Okay. So these are the first 2 pages, and I use the client playbook. I don't read word for word what's in here, right, when I'm having a conversation with somebody, but I do use it as a roadmap for how I'm going to progress the conversation. Okay. So whether it's somebody that I know or it's somebody that I'm meeting for the first time, I'm always typically going to give them a background of myself, just really brief. I don't need to go into long details. My goal is not to talk about myself to the person that I'm with, right? I want to get to the bottom of what they're trying to accomplish because we are there to serve them. But I do want them to understand how I serve my clients and why I'm different. You'll notice right up here, right below my name, Tim Johnson, it says real estate advisor. Marcus and I have found this mindset shift. If we just shift the words a little bit and how we present ourselves, it can make a really big impact in how people view and see us and trust us, right? So we stopped introducing ourselves as real estate agents because, to be honest, when you ask somebody if they trust a real estate agent, I think most times we are just below or just above like a used car salesman for most people, right? And that's not you or it's not me. It's our industry as a whole. We've had some bad apples in our industry just taking advantage of clients that have kind of just drugged the name real estate agent or realtor through the mud. And people just think we're out here to get a quick buck and that we get paid way too much for what we do. In a lot of cases, it's true, right? So by making this simple shift to introducing yourself as a real estate advisor, and what I would say to somebody in this moment is, hey, think of me kind of like a financial advisor, but I use real estate to help you accomplish your real estate goals, right? So I'm a real estate advisor, but think of me kind of as your coach. I'm going to be establishing the game plan for you. We're going to be basing that around your goals. And then I'm going to help you accomplish that. I'm going to walk you step by step through that. And so then I just explain to them what my business does. Why is it different? I help my clients understand the true power of real estate. I create a custom real estate wealth plan for each of my clients. And then I guide them through the process and help them accomplish their goals every step of the way. Right. And then my next page here, this is page 2, meet the team. I just want to introduce them to the names and faces that they're most likely going to run into at some point during the process of our relationship. Right. Because if I'm out of town, I've got Marcus here. We share clients. We help each other a lot when it comes to showing clients houses. If one of us is out of town, if one of us is busy, if I'm showing other clients, he can take down that burden. Right. I have my loan officer here. I explain to them why this is important because Chad looks at the overall picture of your financial situation and he prescribes a medicine for it. So we are in alignment with how we serve clients. He's not just out there to qualify for you for the best and highest and get some money out of you, right? He's here to help make a strategic decision based on your current financial picture of how we can build this game plan for you. So he's actually a part of our game plan building process. And then we've got Kirk down here. Once you've built a portfolio of homes, you need to learn how to protect those assets. You need to learn how to manage them in an efficient way so that you can leverage tax it. You can do all these things that are going to help you maximize that game plan. Right. So these are just faces that they're going to run into at some point during the process. And my goal here is not to just read word for word or tell them overabundance of information about each of these people. I just want them to see the face, see the name. Okay, there's a connection because they're going to see them at some point. I rely heavily on building that team. The next part of this presentation moves into step number 1, establishing goals. Okay, so this is kind of the main portion of the presentation, to be honest. This is going to bring the most clarity. This is the most important part for you walking your client through, and it might be the most important part for your client as well. Establishing goals is going to be like the lifeblood and baseline for how you prescribe them a game plan. Right. So we've thought through 5 different questions here that we're going to walk through verbally with our clients. And then we're going to go ahead and help them write down some bullet points here on page 2 in each of these boxes. So we want to know what their short-term goal is, 1 to 3 years. And then we're going to go walk through and say, okay, now what is your long-term, 5 to 10 years, right? Anything past that, anything past 10 years. I know when we think long-term, we want to think like 30, 40, 50 years, right? But anything past 10 years is a little bit gray, right? How many of us can predict all the life events that are going to take place in the next 10 years? Like we need to stay focused on things that we can actually control, not just dream about way off sometime distance in the future, right? So we walk them through these questions and we are trying to just gain clarity around what they're trying to accomplish. I want to know why. I want to know why they want to quit their job in 3 years. I want to know why they want to retire in 15 years. I want to know why they want to leave a legacy to their children in a portfolio of homes that can help provide stable income for the generations to come. Like, I want to know why they're trying to do it because that can help me serve them better. Right. And then in these lines down below these boxes, I'm going to go ahead and have them write out a 1 to 2 sentence answer of a short-term goal and a 1 to 2 sentence answer of a long-term goal. We're going to have clarity, like it is guaranteed we will have clarity around what they are trying to accomplish after this first section. This is insanely powerful. I cannot get past the point of just the power in just knowing what your client is trying to accomplish and the power that it gives them in knowing what they're trying to accomplish. Guys, this step number 1, if you do this with every single person you know, buyer, seller, friend, family member's dog, doesn't matter, right? Like you can apply this with anybody and everybody and establish trust right from the first meeting. Right over drinking some coffee, like meeting with coffee, and you're providing them with value. You're not asking them to sign agreement so that you're locked into a contract with you. No, like that is not the purpose. We are here to provide value. And if you do this correctly, they will not want to work with anybody else. Right. Okay, so going on to the next section, then we get into the education section. And remember what I said, we're not educating them on our job and what we do and how a transaction goes. We're educating our clients on the power of real estate. If you can educate every single person you know in your life, all your friends, all your family members, on the true power of real estate, how would your business change? How much impact would you make in the lives of the people that you care about most if you could just show them the true benefits of real estate and how to build wealth in utilizing it? This is a big one, guys. We miss this. We miss this all the time. I saw a recent statistic that actually said the average American holds almost 70% of their net worth in their primary home. In their primary home. People are buying real estate and accidentally building net worth, like building their net worth, the majority of their net worth in their primary home. I mean, think about that. Real estate is so powerful in building wealth that people do it by accident. Imagine what we can do for people if we can just help them be intentional about the next 2 or 3 steps that they take in real estate. We don't have to be out here changing people's entire personas and making them real estate moguls and full-time investors. No, we can dramatically increase the net worth of our clients by just giving them a game plan that's intentional about maximizing the decision-making over the next 2 to 3 steps, over the next 2 to 3 decisions for them that concerns real estate. This is power, guys. Once we educate them here, and once we kind of dive into this, I will most likely dive into 1 or 2 of these topics. I'll walk briefly through all 5, but I'll hyper focus on maybe 1 to 2 that are most in line with the goals that they just laid out in section 1. So if Joey, my client, tells me, oh yeah, you know what, I would love to actually kind of quit my job in about 3 years, and I want to be able to live off past like the income from my investments. Maybe he's got a high paying job and he wants to be able to live off the investments and then start some other journey. I'm going to probably focus a little bit more on how that looks, how we can build passive income, how that actually looks in some specific strategies that we employ with other clients of ours, right? But maybe Bob, sitting across from me, has much more of a different take, where he wants to build wealth over the long term. He's got another 30 years of work that he's committed to, and he just wants to have something in the future as a nest egg for retirement, right? Then I'm going to talk to him about long-term appreciation. I'm going to talk to him about diversification within his retirement plan. I'm going to maybe talk about some tax advantages that he can use, right? So you have to speak to your client about what is important to them. We don't talk about everything and under the sun, right? They're just going to be confusing for people. So put your thinking cap on, be accustomed to what this conversation is going to look like for people, and speak to what they're trying to accomplish. Our goal is to help them accomplish their goal, right? Like, it's not to accomplish our goal. Okay. Moving on, once we've gone through that section there, we move on to the third section, the third item, strategies, or what we would call, different wealth building paths. Okay, so we educate them a little bit. Again, this is kind of the same thing, where it's a passive strategy, an active strategy, or a hybrid strategy. We just kind of show them some examples of what each of those looks like, within real estate. Most of our clients, to be honest, fall under this hybrid strategy, right? So not everyone wants to be an active real estate investor where they're going and flipping homes and they're having to do a bunch of work, and that's like pretty much becomes their full-time job. And most people don't want, a fully passive strategy either, because it might be too hands-off and the returns aren't quite as good as they want. So the fastest and best way for most people and most of our clients to build wealth is a hybrid strategy. And we teach them how to utilize that, right? It involves a little bit of active and it involves a little bit of passive. Okay. And then we move on and we wrap up the conversation with this last page, section number 4, our game plan, right? So we've walked them through, we've given them clarity on what they're trying to accomplish. We've educated them on the power of real estate. We've given them a sneak peek into some of the pathways that we help clients build wealth using real estate. And then the next step is to give them a customized game plan moving forward, right? We won't talk too much about that. This presentation today is purely about the playbook and how to implement this right now with all of your clients moving forward. Like, this should be how you progress your buyers. This should be your initial consultation with buyers, sellers, family members, people who don't even aren't even fully interested in what you're doing yet, right? You can have this conversation with somebody who's not even ready to buy for the next 3 to 6 months. It doesn't matter, right? But establishing the goal that they have in front of them and giving them the next step and the game plan to move forward is how we move the needle in relationships. You're not just sitting there waiting for people to be ready to buy or sell. Okay. So what can you do now moving forward? Now that you have the layout of what this playbook looks like, what can you do now moving forward? Something that really helped Marcus and I is when we wrote down our core 30 people. And what I mean by this is we looked at our life and we said, okay, who are the closest 30 people to us in life? They don't have to have closed a transaction with us. They don't have to, be interested in closing with a transaction, with us, even in the next year or so. Like, I'm not business focused on these core 30 people. These are 30 people that I know, like, and trust. And these are 30 people who know, like, and trust me. They know what I stand for. They know my values. They know what I do for a job. They would vouch for me to somebody else, right? They would vouch for my reputation. 30 people. They love us. They trust us. They know what we do. They know what we stand for. I need you to write down those 30 names. Okay. And if you can only think of 20, keep thinking, right? We need 30. Like, think of 30. This is a powerful strategy in itself for just understanding the relationship model and how you can build relationships deeper with more people. A lot of us kind of stay in our box and we only have like 2, 3, 4, 5 people that we talk to on a regular basis. We have to break out of that if we want to build a scalable sphere-based business. Okay. Step number 2, go to our website, athletetoagent.com, and download this playbook. Marcus and I went through and tirelessly put this playbook together so it's easy for you guys to edit. So you guys can actually have a downloadable, editable version of this. It pulls up Canva and you can input your picture right where my picture is. You can input your name and your bio, and you can change the logo and all the stuff that needs to be changed in there. You can put your own team members in there, right? So we just wanted to make this like super simple for you guys. Like, this is plug and play. We don't need you to spend a week on redeveloping the playbook. Like, we did the hard part of that and walking through and thinking through the questions and, all of that. We developed that ourselves. Okay. So we just want you to have that easy. And then step number 3, I want to invite you guys to tell each person on that list of your core 30 that you'd like to test out a new approach, right? And you're looking for some feedback. You're not out here selling to these people. You're not out here trying to convince them to buy a house or sign a client agreement, right? You're just out here asking for feedback. And what they're going to get is they're going to get clarity around some of their financial wealth building goals. And they're going to get a custom game plan from you on what the next steps would look like if they do want to move forward. It's an amazing value that you can provide to the 30 closest people in your life. If you can provide this to your core 30 over the next 2-3 months, set these appointments, set it up, ask for their feedback, ask for things that they would change, like, be constructive about it. But also, this presents a powerful model for you to move the needle forward to these people. Here's a really good quote that I saw recently. I don't know who said it, but there's always competition at the bottom, but there's only collaboration at the top. Look, Marcus and I we made this presentation. We put together this little training on how we implemented the playbook within our business because it impacted it so powerfully. We're just giving this information for free. Like, go download the playbook for free. Go input your stuff for free. Like, start using it tomorrow in your business. Use what we're giving you right now in your business. We want to see you grow it, right? There's enough That's the thing. Like, there's no scarcity mindset here. You're not going to steal my clients. You don't even know who I know, right? So, like, we're not going to be bumping each other in the marketplace. We want to see you be successful. We want to see other agents and other family members and other men and women be able to provide for their families the way we have over the last few months, when we're seeing an exodus of 60,000 agents out of the industry. Marcus and I are more busy than we have ever been in our businesses over the last 2 months, right? So, like, we know the power in this. We're implementing it in our own business. I'm not selling you something that we haven't tried and preached and started implementing within our own business. We want to collaborate. We want to help you build a successful business. Okay. So what could your business look like if you did this? What would happen if you went and downloaded our form, you filled it out, you started implementing it with your core 30? Well, number one, you're going to bring 10 times the value to each client you have, which literally will force them to share your name, right? It's an ego thing for most people. Think about when somebody has like a money guy, or like everyone wants a guy, right? Like, oh, I got a real estate guy. He makes me a lot of money, right? If you're building wealth for your clients, everyone wants to share your name. It's an ego thing for them. They say, oh yeah, I've got a guy in real estate. Oh, he's great, dude. He's helped build a plan for me. He's helped my family build wealth. I would love to share his name with you. Right? Going back to that question that we asked in the beginning of this presentation, how do we provide 10 times the value than we take and pay as real estate agents? We have to think wealth building for our clients. We have to establish what they're actually trying to accomplish. Okay. If I can build generational wealth for my clients that get passed through the generations of their family, and they've built a portfolio of homes that help them retire over the long period of the time, and they can pass those homes to their kids and their kids' kids and their kids' kids' kids, right? That's providing 10 times the value than I took in that one commission. I'm setting them up for life. I'm helping my clients establish a game plan that sets themselves up for life on the wealth side. Number two, you're going to 5x the lifetime value of each client by helping them use real estate to build wealth, right? Okay, anybody in this, can anybody answer, what is the average time somebody spends in their primary home before they move? So they buy a house and then they move. How long are they typically living there for?
What is it, like 7, 8 years?
Yeah. Yep. I think, and it might have lowered a little bit, but I think, 7 to 8 years is about that time frame, right? Like the average time frame that somebody spends in their primary home before they sell and maybe need to upsize or whatever for whatever reasons, or move. Okay. 7 to 8 years. Let's all do the math. Just on the statistics alone, how many of us statistically in this room are going to be in business in 7 to 8 years? All right, let's be optimistic though. Let's say, hey, we're all good agents, right? We're all building our businesses. We're going to be able to weather the storm, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and just do the math and say you're in business for the next 40 years, 30 years, right? How many times is that client going to potentially buy a house with you? 3, maybe 4. That's assuming that they're going to use you 8 years down the road. That's assuming they opened all your drip emails and they thought that you continued to provide value to them, and they haven't met anybody else closer in their life who has their real estate agent or has their real estate license in that time, right? Like, let's be honest. Most of us are not going to be able to get the repeat customer business that we so long for, right? And that's why most of us are stuck on the treadmill. That's why we're stuck on this hamster wheel of constantly trying to get new people into our business. So if we can teach our clients how to build wealth, right? One of the most simple strategies that we teach our clients is simply supercharging their home ownership. They don't need to become a real estate investor. All we need to show them is a path and a plan to buy a primary residence, live in it for 2 years, and then go buy another primary residence and turn their current home into a rental, right? They've built some equity. They've probably refied at some point in that time. They've lowered their costs. It served them well. They've lived in it 2 years to go ahead and maximize the capital gains tax for the next 3 years in case they happen to sell that property. They go buy a new primary house and they start building a portfolio 2 years at a time. That's like very basic for clients to be able to follow. And that right there, educating them on that process and equipping them with the knowledge and the resources to implement that, you're helping somebody buy a house every 2 years. Like I'm conservatively saying that you're going to 5x the value of each of your clients. I mean, you could 10x the value of each of your clients, right? Like if we do this properly, depending on the client, they could start buying a house with you every 6 months. Depending on their income and how aggressive they want to be in building a real estate portfolio. And so the power in this is just like, stop trying to find the next client. Stop trying to find the new client. Just supercharge the clients that you have in front of you right now. Equip them with the knowledge to be successful. Build wealth for their families. Change lives. Number 3, what could your business look like if you implemented this? You could create an actionable pathway for your clients that isn't dictated on market variables, right? We talked about it a couple times already, the mass exodus of agents leaving the industry because they can't support their families, they can't pay the bills, so they have to go find a full-time job and they let their real estate license lapse. Let's build a model that isn't dictated by the wind. Let's build a model that we help clients in any market condition. We help them succeed no matter what. We keep our eyes focused in the long-term vision for helping our clients accomplish their goals that they have set in front of them. So again, what can you do right now? We're here providing this as a presentation to provide you with value. What can you start doing in your business to implement this? Write down your core 30. Go to our website, athletetoagent.com. There's a big old yellow button. You're not going to miss it. Marcus and I literally just put it on the website yesterday. You're not going to miss it. It's going to say something like, get your free playbook. Okay, click it. All you put is your name, your email. That's it. It's going to send you an email. We're not going to spam you. Not going to blow you up with a bunch of stuff. You'll get access to edit the Canva piece so you can start using this playbook within your business literally tomorrow. It would not take you more than a couple hours to input your own information in there, right? And then go tell each person on that core 30 list that you want to test out this new approach and you'd love their feedback, and set appointments. Treat these appointments like listing appointments, right? How do we provide value to our clients from day one? This is how. This is it. So thanks everybody for coming. We're excited to continue to share this information. This has been insanely powerful in our own business. We want to equip other agents with being able to build a scalable sphere-based business. And this is just the first piece of how we teach agents to do this, right? Take this, run with it, make some money. Thanks. I don't know how to stop recording.